Okay, algebra final review. Number 1, to solve just a basic equation. Okay, we need to distribute the 5. Combine like terms. Okay, we need to get rid of one of the x's. So I'm going to add 7x on both sides. 7x minus 1x is 6x. Get rid of the 12. And divide by 6. So negative 5 over 6 is x. Okay, when we have fractions, what we need to do, the easiest thing is to multiply everything by what 2 and 7 can go into, which is 14. So I'm going to multiply by 14 over 1 for everything. Okay, I'm going to just do 14 there since 3 is not a fraction. You can cross multiply or just multiply. 14, we do tops and bottoms, 14 times x and 1 times 2, x times 14 and 7 times 1, and 3 times 14, which would be 30 plus 12 is 42. Okay, the reason we multiply by 14 is we'll have these nice divisions now. 14x divided by 2 and 14x divided by 7. Okay, I've got x on both sides. Seven x minus 2x. Remember to keep that equal sign lined up. Divide by 5. So x equals 42 divided by 5. When it doesn't divide nicely, see if it reduces. If not, there's your answer. Okay, first find out what x cannot be. Remember, denominators can't be 0. Okay, so that happens when x is 7, so x can't be 7. Okay, now to get rid of the fractions, multiply everything by that denominator. Okay, it's only one denominator, so everything's going to get multiplied by x minus 7. Okay, on that far left, that makes them cancel. On the far right, that cancels. Okay, so we get just the 4 there. In the middle, we need to multiply 1 times x minus 7. And on the right, those canceled, so we just have 5. Four minus 7 is minus 3, and add. Okay, so here's both parts of your answer. Okay, then we started quadratics. Quadratics is when you have x squared. So we want this equal to 0. Okay, there's no like terms to put that minus 15 with. Okay, there's two things we can do. One thing that we can do is to factor, okay, which means we're trying to make a FOIL problem there. 8x squared could be 8 times 2, or sorry, 8 times 1 or 4 times 2. So let's try this. Let's try 4x minus 3 and 2x plus 5. Okay, 4x times 2x is 8x squared. The outside term would be 4x times 5, which would be 20x. The inside term, minus 3 times 2x is minus 6x. 20 minus 6 gives us that 14x, so that's correct. Set them both equal to 0. Okay, so we add 3 here. Divide by 4. So we get 3/4. Here we subtract 5. Then we divide by 2. So we get negative 5/2, since those are not nice divisions. The other way is to use the quadratic. Okay, so 8x squared, 14x. You have to still have it equal to 0. Okay, so the quadratic, negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. A is 8, b is 14, c is minus 15. Okay, so we need to plug in. Negative b means the opposite of b. B squared means b times b. Okay, so that's 14 times 14. Okay, and minus 4ac would be minus 4 times a times c. It's all over 2a, which is 2 times 8. Okay, inside that square root, I've got parentheses, but there's nothing inside them to do. Those mean multiplications. So I need to multiply 4 times 8 times 15. Now what are my signs? A negative times a negative equals a positive. Okay, I forgot to bring a calculator. So I'm going to do 4 times 15 is 60, times 8 would be 480. On the bottom, 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, I need to do 196 plus 480. Okay, that's 676. Okay, over 16. Okay, 196 plus 480. I've already forgotten. Negative 14 plus or minus square root of 676 over 16. Okay, I am going to have to get a calculator for that. Did I really take my calculator off of here? Well, that's not going to work. Let me get a calculator. Okay, square root of 676 is 26. Okay, we get our two answers by saying plus 26 or minus 26. Okay, 26 minus 14 is 12. And 12 over 16 reduces by 4. 4 into each of those. Minus 14 minus 26 is minus 40. And 8 goes into both of those. Okay, so we get the same answers either way, just depending on if you want to factor or use the formula. Okay, if something squared equals 49, something has to either be 7 or negative 7. Okay, so that means what's inside has to work out to be 7 or negative 7, because both of those squared equal positive 49. Okay, we add 1. We divide by 2. We do the same thing here. And those are our two answers. Okay, number 6, another quadratic because of the square. If you tried to factor it, it wouldn't, because it's just an understood 1x squared. Nothing multiplies to 2, adds to 7. So we have to use the formula. A is the understood 1, B, and C. So I'm going to plug in negative b, the opposite. B squared, 7 times 7. 4ac means multiply. A is 1, C is 2. 2a means 2 times 8. We always multiply first. 4 times 1 times 2. 49 minus 8. The square root of 41 doesn't do anything. Okay, now that's all the quadratic solving. Okay, Okay, we're going to get x by itself. We've got x on both sides. Never cancel out a whole side. So subtract 8x on both sides. Now when you subtract, the symbol stays the same, but now we're going to divide by -4 on both sides. When you divide by a negative, you flip. So this is going to turn the other way. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. We're going to graph it. It's not included, and greater than goes to the right. It's not included, so that's why there's a parentheses. Okay, absolute value, you split into two parts, positive, negative. You flip the symbol on the negative. Okay, less than is and. So we want to get x by itself. Okay, get x by itself. So it's got to be less than or equal to 1 and bigger than or equal to -11. Okay, I'm going to use some colors. I'm going to do x is less than or equal to 1 in red. Okay, let me draw the number line first. Okay, -11 is the smaller number. Okay, less than or equal to. Okay, so include less than. Okay, we'll use Northwest colors, red and blue. Greater than or equal to -11. So or equal to, greater than. Okay, and means both. Where is there red and blue? In between our two numbers. Okay, in between our two numbers, it's both of them. Brackets because of the or equal to. Okay, so x minus 9 is bigger than 5 or less than -5. Okay, two parts, flip on the negative, but greater is more is or. So x is bigger than 14 or x is less than 4. Okay, 4 is the smaller number, greater than 14, not include, less than 4 is on the left. We read these left to right. Okay, negative infinity to 4, 14 to infinity. Okay, f of x is the same thing as y. Okay, but when we graph, we're going to set y equal to 0. And we can factor this. Okay, we multiply to 5 and add to 1. Okay, so x is -5 or -1. Subtract 5, subtract 1. When we plugged in, when we replaced y with 0, Okay, so that means we have 2 points. Remember, y equals x squared. A positive one is a u. Okay, so my points are -5, y is 0. When x is -1, y is 0. It's a U shape, so it'll look like this. Okay, number 11, same thing. When y is negative, it's upside down. Okay, we're going to replace y with 0. Now, you see that negative x squared? I'm going to factor a -1 out of everything, which changes all these signs. Okay, so multiply to -5 and add to 4 would be 5 minus 1. Okay, I can divide this -1 out of everything so it looks nicer. 0 divided by is still 0. Okay, so x plus 5 equals 0. X is -5. X minus 1 equals 0. X equals 1. And remember, we got that by replacing y and solving it when it's equal to 0. So y equals 0 at both of those points. Okay, -5, 0, and 1, 0. Okay, now because it's negative, it's the upside down. Okay, system of equations. Okay, the like terms are lined up. We're going to add, eliminate. Okay, look at x. 3 times something doesn't equal 8, so let's move on to y. Okay, 8's the bigger number. Can you multiply 2 by something and get 8? Yes. Okay, so 8y is going to stay what it is. What cancels with 8y is minus 8y. So if we do -2y times 4, we'll get minus 8y. So I'm going to multiply this second equation by 4. Okay, so that's going to give me 32x minus 8y equals -8. I'm going to add it to the original. Okay, I get 35x, cancel. Okay, now we can think of that as cancel, but we need a number there, and that's 0. Okay. Okay, now the question said solve for x, so we're done. Okay, this one says solve for y. We have a letter alone, substitute. Okay, what letter is alone? Y. So that means we're going to replace y right there with what y equals. Okay, so 5, what are we replacing y with? Instead of 5 times y, y is 4x plus 4. Okay, write the rest of the equation. Now we can distribute the 5. That's not x. Okay, I'm going to add my like terms. I need to solve. Divide. So x is 5, but that wasn't the question. Okay. We need y. Y equals 4x plus 4. So y is 4 times 5 plus 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 4 is 24. Okay, number 14 says solve and check. Since it's multiple choice, all you have to do is plug in the answers. And we have 5 and -2, just -2, no solution, or just 5. Okay, so put 5 in and see if this is true. 5 plus 11, 5 minus 1. Okay, the square root of 16 is 4, so that's true. Let's try -2. Okay, 11 minus 2 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. Okay, so what's the answer? The answer is x equals 5. Okay, the answer is x equals 5 because that's the only one that's true. Okay, first we solve when it's equal to 0, which means we factor. Okay, so x minus 2 and x minus 3. Add 2 and add 3. Okay, what does greater than or equal to 0 mean? Greater than means positive, or equal to means include. Okay, so if you use your chart, okay, I like using the factored form better. Okay, we need something less than 2, something in between, and something more. Okay, something less, between, more. -1 minus 2 minus 1 minus 3 are both negatives. Negative times negative. Plug in 2.5. 2.5 minus 2 is positive, but 2.5 minus 3 is negative, so that's negative. That comes out positives. Okay, so the question asks, where does it come out positive? Okay, it comes out positive here and here, okay, which are things on the left of 2 and the things on the right of 3. Comes out positive here and here. Okay, the or equal to means include. okay, on the left and on the right. So negative infinity to 2 bracket, 3 to infinity. The bracket is because of the or equal to. Okay. Less than 0 means negative. Don't include. Okay, so we need to see where the top equals 0, and that's 8. The bottom equals 0, and that's negative 3. So our chart, we need less, between, and more. So we're plugging in here. Minus 4 minus 8 minus 4 plus 3 is a negative divided by a negative, positive. Plug in here, we get a negative divided by a positive. We get positive over positive there. Okay. Less than 0 means where is it negative? And that is in between negative 3 and 8. Okay. We don't include because it just says less than, so our answer is negative 3 to 8, this section in the middle, with parentheses because we don't have or equal to. Okay, subtraction, we need a common denominator, but first we need to factor that right. Difference of squares. Okay, the common denominator is what they can both become. It's not the left thing, it's the right thing. Because all you have to do to make them match is multiply x minus 2 for the left. Okay, remember you can only times in or leave it alone. So multiply the top. Okay, and now they all have the same denominator. X times x is x squared. X times minus 2 is minus 2x. But that top thing factors negative 4 and positive 2. Okay, a trinomial, multiply and add. Our x plus 2's divide out. And this is what we have left over. Okay, everything's being raised to the 1/2 power. Okay, that means for the number you put it in the root. 1 goes in, 2 goes out. The square root of 16 is 4. So 4 is our number. Okay, for the power to a power, you multiply. Okay, half of 4 is 2, so x2. The same thing here. We multiply the powers. Half of 8 is 4, so that gives us y4. Okay. Write the equation of a line through these 2 points. First, we need the slope. x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, you'll need to know your formula. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. That minus a negative turns into plus. Okay, so I'm going to use the formula y minus y1 is m x minus x1. Okay, and this is my x1, y1. This is my m, the slope. So y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So I get y minus 5. Minus a negative turns to plus. So I had y minus 5 equal to 2/5 x plus 3. Okay, I need to distribute that 2/5. Okay, 2 over 5 times 3 over 1 is 6 over 5. Okay, I multiplied 2 over 5 times 3 over 1. Now I need to add 5 to get y by itself. 6 over 5 plus 5 over 1. Okay, if I want a common denominator of 5 to add 6 over 5, that would be 25 over 5. 6 plus 25 is 31 over 5. Okay, 20 says find the domain. Okay, the denominator can't be 0. So we need to find when it is 0. Okay, factor, multiply to 8, add to minus 6. Set them equal to 0. Okay, they can't equal 0, so x can't be 4, x can't be 2. So open circle at 2 and 4. X can be less, between, and more. So that gives us negative infinity to 2. We're not including parentheses. Between 2 and 4. And then from 4 to infinity. Parentheses because we're not including. Okay, 21 also asks to find the domain. Okay, we can't have imaginary, which is when you have a negative. Okay, so what's inside the root has to be 0 or higher. Okay, we can't have negative numbers inside that square root. So 2x minus 12 has to be 0 or more. Get x by itself. So x has to be greater than or equal to 6. Okay, or equal to, greater than. Okay, The or equal to tells us to put the bracket around the 6. So 6 to infinity. Okay, f of x and g of x. To find g of f of x, okay, means g of f of x, which means g of what f of x is. Okay, since there's g of x there, we're going to write what g of x is. But where there's an x here, I'm going to leave a blank parentheses because I'm going to replace x. How do you know what x gets replaced with? Whatever's inside there. Okay, so now I'll distribute. And combine my like terms, which are just the two numbers. Okay, solve an equation. Okay, logarithms are in the form base, answer equals exponent. So that means 2 is the base, 3 is the exponent, and x minus 3 is the answer. 2 times 2 times 2, and get x by itself. Okay, now this time we have an exponent, so we're going to turn it into a log using our same formula. So I'm going to write log. The base is e. The answer is 6. It's equal to the exponent of 4x. Now, log base e has a special name. It's ln. Okay, so we divide by 4. So ln of 6 divided by 4 is x. Okay, do not try to divide 6 and 4 by 2 because that's not 6. It's the ln of 6. The division is going over underneath that whole thing. Okay, last, graph a line. We want it to be y equals. I like the x to be first, so I'm going to write minus 3x minus 15. Okay, divide by 5. That's not a nice division, but the 15 is. Okay, so that's my equation. Y equals negative 3/5 x minus 3. Okay, the easiest thing to do is just make your 2 points. 0 is always good. Because anything times 0 is 0. Okay, now what are we going to plug in for our other one? 1 times a fraction's not very nice. Okay, if you plug in the denominator for x, something nice will happen. Those 5s will cancel out. Minus 3 is minus 6. Okay, so we're going to graph 0 minus 3 over 3, 0 minus 3 over 0 down 3. Okay, 5 minus 6. We've got our 2 points here. Right 5, down 6. Okay, and that will be your graph. And that's the end of our review.